Welcome back to Between Bells on this hump day. The maker of everyone's favorite clogs is reporting a record number in earnings. Crocs did better than expected in its second quarter that ended June 30th. The shoemaker reported record revenue of $640.8 million and expects more growth in the future. Joining us now is Andrew Rees, Crocs CEO. Andrew, welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you. What factor, and I love all the shoes behind you, by the way, that looks so cool. Right. What factors worked in your favor this second quarter?
Yeah, we had very strong consumer demand really across the board. So I'd say the first thing is from a regional perspective, we had strong demand here in the US. We had exceptional growth in the US, but we've had that for a number of quarters now, really for a couple of years, to be honest. But we saw really strong demand in Europe. So as Europe opened up, stores opened up, people went back to sort of somewhat more normal life. We saw strong growth in demand and good growth in Asia. So those from a regional perspective, I think kind of that's how I'd characterize it. And then I'd also say, look, our core clog grew really strongly. And then our second really big push around sandals, we also saw good sandal growth. So we're really very pleased with the business kind of across the landscape.
So we report on Crocs a lot here at Cheddar. You've had big celebrity collabs, huge ones that sold out in minutes. Bad Bunny, Justin Bieber, fast food chain KFC, which personally were my favorite. I love those. Who are you looking to work with next?
So yeah, we had some great collaborations in this last quarter as well. You know, some as unexpected as the ones you just mentioned. So we had a second big collaboration launch with Balenciaga. So they put some shoes down their runway, which is in preparation for their spring 22 line. We had a rain boot and also a stiletto, a Croc Madame we called it, which is a stiletto. So those were really big in terms of high profile. And I would say as we look forward into the rest of this year, we have a huge lineup of collaborations. I think today there was some tease of a collaboration coming up with Salehi. So there's a lot in the pipeline. We don't like to release names and dates in advance because the unexpected nature is a big piece of it.
Of course, we understand. Gen Z and millennial shoppers, they are big supporters of Crocs. They go to TikTok a lot, show off their customized Crocs. How do you plan on using social media when it comes to your marketing strategy, Andrew?
Yes, social media is absolutely huge for our marketing strategy. So we talked a little bit about collaborations. I would say the next most important thing is our social media focus. So, we're huge on TikTok and also many other social media platforms. In fact, in this last quarter, we launched an augmented reality presentation on TikTok. We were the first footwear brand to do that. That got over 8 billion global views. And the hashtag #GetCrocked was used over 1 million times. So we're very happy to innovate and lean in and be, kind of front-footed on social media. And I would say also we use social media platforms not only in this country, but also throughout the world. So we look at the platforms that are relevant maybe in Japan or China, so Line in Japan or Douyin in China. So we're trying to remain relevant to our local consumers and utilize the platforms that are important to them.
Speaking of front-footed, young people, I don't have to tell you, are also driving this new wave of sustainability. It's very important. How are you planning to meet this demand?
Yeah, so that's along with our earnings last week, we also announced our sustainability platform. We plan to be net zero carbon emissions by 2030, which is obviously just around the corner. We're doing that through a combination of factors. Number one is looking for more sustainable sources for the raw materials that go into making our product, working with a major chemical company to allow us to do that. We're also looking at our packaging. One of the things that's kind of unique about Crocs is the durability and lightweight nature of the product. We already ship 85% of our shoes without packaging. They don't come in a box, which obviously it makes them easier to ship, cheaper to ship, and also far more sustainable. And we're also working on reuse options. Another thing that's important about Crocs is they're very durable. Most people do not wear them out, right? They get tired of them or want to move on to a new pair, a new color, a new seasonal graphic before they wear them out. So we're looking for ways that consumers can either resell them or donate them, and they can have a second life, which obviously makes them, environmentally more sustainable. So we know this is incredibly important to that young consumer that we appeal to around the world. And interestingly, it's not just here in the U.S. That's important to our consumers in Asia, our consumers in Europe, and I think by announcing that we'll be, net zero by 2030 and having a concrete plan to achieve that is going to be very important to that consumer base.
Supply chain disruptions have presented challenges for many, many companies, including yours. How are you getting ahead of that this time around, Andrew?
Yeah, that's hard, right? So, really for the last 12 months, we've been living with supply chain disruptions. We've been living with uncertainty, extended shipping times, lack of containers, lack of capacity on kind of ocean freight. And one way to think about it is, sort of shipping times from source of origin manufacturing to the US is really double what it historically has been. And we've managed through that and managed to achieve kind of the results that we've achieved given that. Looking forward, there are some new concerns, right? So looking forward, we're definitely seeing huge COVID spikes in key manufacturing countries like Vietnam. We're seeing factories close as they quarantine the population to try and contain COVID. So, we're anticipating that these supply chain disruptions and lack of supply to meet some of that demand is going to continue. And just like the chip shortage, I think you saw a lot of high-tech results last night. We're going to have to manage through that, and we're well adapted doing that, but it's not going to be easy.
So at first, Crocs took a while to catch on. Fast forward to now, there are so many copycats out there. What would you tell someone who's torn between buying the knockoff versus the real deal Crocs?
Well, look, I think we are the real deal, right? So we created this product, the classic clog, the clogs that you see behind me on the wall. Our shoes are certainly the most comfortable. They're the most well designed. They're the premier offering, and frankly, they're still very affordable. So for our product, you can get the premier brand with all the technology and comfort that comes with that for a very affordable price. And so we're going to work hard to protect our intellectual property, and have taken some pretty big steps to do that here over the last few weeks, both applying to the ITC for a general exclusion order, but also directly targeting companies that we think are taking unfair advantage of our own intellectual property rights.
Well, truly a pleasure to talk to you. Here's to more success. Andrew Rees, Crocs CEO. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew.